Am I the asshole for attending the funeral of my mother? I, 24 female, was given up by my parents as a baby because they were both 18 and had no way to properly care for me. I didn't have a very good life until I got into college off of a sports scholarship, and it was then that I decided to investigate my past. I found out that my parents were still together, that they had 2 other kids, a lot younger than me, and had overall become very successful in life. I started to feel very resentful, and although I almost reached out, I decided that I couldn't. I still kept tabs on them to see how they were doing, how my siblings are, and stuff. When I found out that my mother died, I did attend the funeral a few weeks ago. It was a big funeral. A lot of people attended, but it wasn't packed. The thing is, other than my hair being jet black, I look just like my mother did. So when people were leaving, I got spotted by my mother's hysterical great aunt who assumed I was my mother. I excused myself, but I'm pretty sure I exposed who I was, because just a few days ago, my father managed to find me and reached out to me. When we met at a coffee shop 3 days ago, he apologized for having given me up, not reaching out sooner, and ended up crying over not getting to raise me. It's the first time I've seen a grown man cry. He asked me if I needed anything from a car to a place to stay, but I couldn't help but feel like I was embarrassing him. So I said goodbye and left, but I've received a lot of texts and voicemails from him since then, asking why I left early, if I'll meet him again. Then I got a phone call from a woman saying she was his cousin and my aunt, and that I should have stayed away because he's inconsolable now and I'm an asshole for choosing a funeral to reveal myself. I feel like my aunt is right because all I've done is brought him new grief after he just lost his wife. It gets better. You guys don't worry.
I'm packing in the questions. You know me.
Yeah.
Give me all the facts first, and then let me rip.
Yep. So top comment on this original post: not the asshole. I feel bad for you and your biological father. Honestly, this is just a tough situation. Your aunt should seriously shut up. Your aunt is a typical attention seeker.
I'm with her on that one.
So OP responds, because there's just a bunch of comments about the aunts like going down the line. And OP responds, the aunt who was hysterical and confused me for my mother is in her grief is my mother's great aunt and is in her 90s. The aunt who called me is my father's cousin. They're 2 different women. So she just was clarifying.
Good.
Okay, so let's get to the update. So the update occurred 1 month later. So I'm posting this because I said I would in a month. Things happened and it's gotten better. The first thing was my aunt, dad's cousin, phoned me like the day after and apologized to me. She told me she practically raised my dad and seeing him like he was made her act without thinking. She told me my dad wanted to see me again and would appreciate it if I would meet her too. I told her how hurtful what she said was and I needed time before seeing her, but did agree to meet him. Fast forward a week ago to meeting my dad. I kept rereading everyone's advice and using it to prepare what to say. He was more composed. I told him it hurt me so much to be abandoned and it hurt seeing how successful he was and it made me feel not wanted. And meeting him made me want to be forgotten. He told me he never forgot about me and showed me a small baby photo of me he keeps in his wallet and told me he still sees me as his baby even though I'm grown. He told me he and my mom used to cry for me every day after giving me up, but they still prayed for me every day, even until the end. He once again told me whatever I wanted. I told him I wanted no money or anything from him and didn't intend to reveal myself. He told me it was okay if I wanted nothing to do with him, but asked if I'd be a part of my mom's great aunt's life, as she hadn't stopped talking about me since exposing me, and he gave me her address. He insisted I was always wanted, but he always thought I'd been adopted and didn't want to ruin my life, and that's something a lot of you said, so I was prepared for it. He asked me to forgive him for not being there for me and said he'd do whatever to be my dad. I guess I realized I could push him away or finally have what I wanted. I told him my teenage fantasy that he'd come to save me from the orphanage, and we both started crying. He told me we can save each other, and I hugged him and forgave him. Since then, I started seeing him more, visiting my great aunt every other day. She started calling me by baby nickname she had for my mom. My dad also started coming to the gym that me, my fiance, and my best friend started after grad. He has been trying to do all the dad stuff I missed out on that we can still do, like teaching me how to drive, business advice, and stuff. I also finally don't feel so upset over my siblings getting a better life than me. He also got us both into counseling, and I've finally been able to talk about all my years in the system before I aged out. He is hosting a New Year's party and asked me to come so I can meet all my relatives, cousins, and siblings. And yes, I am going. So I want to thank everybody that prepared me for how he felt in giving me up and how he felt in getting to see me again. I think that if you all hadn't pointed that out to me, I probably would have just tried to stay hidden and wouldn't have finally gotten a dad.
That's called a happy ending.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to hear how
I
that worked out and how
know.
she opened the door and allowed him to figure out how to be a dad and not, maybe for whatever moronic reason he was associating being a father by just buying things to buy that love or open that door where all she really wanted him to do is just simply just be in my life. And neither one of them could just say that from the beginning on in the easy way, saying it's not money, it's life I'd like to be able to experience. And I understand her bitterness too. I didn't know she was in an orphanage for all those years. I assumed that she got adopted by another family, no different than he thought that they were picked up by a family.
No, she was in the system until she aged out at 18.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, and I'm sure too, like I didn't look too much into the money thing. I just think it's like the shock of it all, and he just feels so bad for the past that he's just trying to make it right in every way possible. And it's like, just like, what do you need? What can I do? What do you need?
And I get it.
Yeah, it's
what a great story, and I'm
such
glad. And if you're listening to this, I'm really glad that you opened that door, and I certainly feel confident that your lives will be embellished for the rest of your life and certainly his life, and that's just great. And certainly for the great aunt.
Yeah, you wonder with her age if she still, has the clear cognitive thinking, but
yeah, she's 95.
Yeah,
I got to tell you,
or something like
I
that.
know 95-year-olds that are 100% with it. You knew that Ruth, Aunt Ruth, she was cognitive till 99. She didn't budge.
Yeah,
So.
I mean it's a crazy story. So I mean I'm sure that's helping that great aunt through her grief, and it's just crazy how it all worked out.
Well, congratulations.
I know. It's just sad that, this all happened because of her mom's funeral.
Death.
And that's that loss for her, not knowing her mom and growing up in the system and then never really getting that chance.
I have a friend of mine that I met, online on a dating app. And she was adopted early on and was given up. And she, I don't know if she really knew her mom. She met her once before she passed, but I do know that she was telling me about it, and it was obviously a significant part of her life, even though she really didn't know this woman.
Yeah.
That when I went to the cemetery to visit my parents, her mom was there. She told me where her mom was, and I went and found her and took a picture of her for her and sent it to her, and she was very moved. There's a connection. It's your mom. And even though they're not a part of your life, they stick in your head. So a lot of you that are out there certainly go through those feelings. I can't imagine not.
Yeah, and I've talked about my friend Erin, who was adopted in a past episode, and that's something, she really struggled with, even though her adoptive, parents were so amazing. She always kind of had this desire to know her birth mom. And so I think it's something that some kids that are adopted struggle with. And then others, I read comments on YouTube where others are like, it's never been a thought in my mind. Like, I didn't care. So everyone has their own, unique experience, especially.
Their own dynamics.
Yeah, especially with, something so complex as adoption.
I like that one. That was a great one.
Yeah, so the comments on the update, this is really beautiful. Your dad sounds like someone that is good to have in your life, and I'm sure he's thrilled to finally have a relationship with you. And OP responds, I guess I really did misjudge a lot of the things when I first met him. He really is the dad that I wanted when I was a teenager. Someone replies, I like Maya Angelou's quote, I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. I really don't think you or your father did anything wrong. Now you can both move forward in a place that you were before. And OP goes, I really like that quote. It'll be strange going from zero family to a big family in under 2 months, but I know I'll have my dad and really, really old but cute great aunt with me. And just everyone is like, congratulations, this is amazing.
And I hope her siblings are right on top of it as well and open their arms for her.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be, a shock for them, especially because they just lost their mom. So it's definitely going to be slow process or, however they take it. I'm sure it'll be the best steps for all of them. But yeah, I forgot how old the siblings were, / I don't know if she ever mentioned.
I didn't get that. I didn't see it.
She's 24. But I'm not seeing an age for the siblings.
Yeah.
So who knows how old they are? I can go look in her comments and see if she ever mentioned it. But I mean, that they just lost their mom. So it's, it's going to be a lot for them, I'm sure.
And we don't know if it was tragic. If it was an accident or if it was illness. We don't know the time delays and all that and what they went through as a family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, OP does respond though. I was wondering how your life went. Did you never get adopted? Where did you grow up? And so OP responds a lot in the comments, which is why the orphanage in the update, that comment kind of maybe took us by surprise. And they go, I was never adopted. There was some near adoption stuff when I was a baby, apparently, but it never panned out no matter how far it got.
How sad.
And then they respond back. Someone asked, sorry that happened. Did you grow up in an orphanage? They never told your biological parents what happened then? How did they give you up? And so they go, I grew up in the system and was aged out. Given the circumstances of being given up, it was easy to track down who my parents were. Apparently, they gave me up after my first birthday. Wow, which is crazy.
Well, they probably felt they couldn't do it at that time, and they were struggling to even eat, and they thought it would be better for her.
Who knows? It's just, everyone has their own reasons for, giving a little one up for adoption, and you have to make the decision that's best for you. But
we don't know.
We just don't Who knows? I'm sure this is something that OP has struggled with forever. It's complex situation. I'm not seeing. There's so many comments, so be sure to check out this one.
I guess that what they always say is don't look back, look forward.
And that's all you can do. There's no point dwelling on the past. I kind of live by that. I'm big into move on.
Yeah,
Life is too short.
And I always say that every bad experience teaches us good things.
Yeah, it does. In some ways.
Yeah.
There's some things I'd rather not
have
gone through.
We didn't have to learn or experience it, pardon me. But
you got to talk in your mic.
Oh, thank you. But it's those experiences make us who we are.
Yeah, there's definitely some I would take back and not go through. But yeah, happy ending. I think, from the first post until the second post, it was a month. And judging by the comments on the first one, I think she got a lot of support and a lot of great advice that kind of had her reevaluate and was the reason she gave her dad another chance. So it just goes to show that Reddit is a powerful place and can be super, super positive for those reaching out.
And a good tool.
Amazing. I'm very, very happy for her.
I hope you have another one that's that good.